Welcome to Smart Income Masters. Our mission here is simple, helping you make money smarter.
That's right.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into something really fascinating, I think, the journey to financial success, specifically in your 20s.
Yeah, it's a critical time.
We're going to unpack some really compelling personal insights, some hard-won lessons, basically give you a shortcut to understanding those, let's say, unconventional paths to wealth.
Exactly. Think of this as a practical guide. It's drawn straight from, real experience.
Not just theory.
Not at all. We're looking at some surprising facts, actually, and a really grounded view on what truly helps build wealth early on.
And underpinning all this is a pretty unique personal story. It starts very conventionally. High expectations from family before taking a completely independent, sort of unexpected turn.
A real pivot.
So if you're looking for actionable insights, ways to carve out your own financial freedom, you're definitely in the right place. And hey, before we really jump in, make sure you hit subscribe. Stick with Smart Income Masters for more deep dives like this.
We're always working to help you make money smarter.
Okay, let's unpack this journey then. Our subject grew up in Palo Alto, California. Very intellectual, career-focused place.
Right. Heart of Silicon Valley thinking almost. Child of Chinese immigrants too, which often comes with certain expectations.
Absolutely. And those expectations were clear. Do well in school, get into a top university, secure a stable, prestigious job.
That's the classic path.
Specifically, after graduating UCLA back in 2014, the plan laid out was become a doctor.
The safe route. Secure future, high status.
Yeah.
Very common pressure.
But it didn't quite work out that way. There was a pivotal moment, right?
A huge one. After applying to med schools and, well, getting rejected, they took a short summer job. Just 2 months.
A typical 9 to 5.
Exactly. And that brief experience was an epiphany. A really profound one. Realizing that this conventional life, this 9-to-5 grind, was absolutely not for them. Not their calling at all.
So the rejection wasn't the end, it was a beginning.
Precisely. It wasn't a failure, it was a spark. It lit this fire, this determination to, in their words, get rich my way.
Wow. Okay, so that determination then fuels this period of, intense experimentation.
Oh yeah, trying all sorts of things. Numerous side hustles, little businesses.
Like what specifically?
Things like FBA fulfillment by Amazon, where you source products. Amazon handles the rest. Drop shipping too.
Selling online without holding inventory.
Right. Also looks into loans, a bit of real estate, content creation, a whole mix.
And the key thing here, I gather, is that not all of these worked out.
Not even close. Many, probably most, failed. But that's the crucial part.
How so?
Every single attempt, failed or not, was a learning experience. A necessary step, not a dead end.
That fits into that net worth and time idea, doesn't it?
It illustrates it perfectly. Think of that hockey stick graph you sometimes see.
Get flat for a long time.
Exactly. Yeah. For so many successful people, their net worth stays kind of flat, almost horizontal, for ages. Maybe 5, 10 years, sometimes longer.
While they're doing all this trying and failing.
Yes. They're learning, iterating, figuring things out. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, there's a tipping point.
And the graph shoots up.
Sharply, almost vertical. For this person, the big success eventually came from content creation.
Okay.
But the lesson isn't do content creation. It's about that whole iterative process. The trying, the learning, adapting, sticking with it until you find what clicks for you.
It takes longer than people think.
Almost always, especially if you're comparing it to a regular career ladder.
Makes sense. So with all that trial and error, there must have been some specific mistakes. Lessons learned the hard way.
Definitely. And they're pretty open about doing things incorrectly at first. The first big one they point to is how they approached college.
Interesting. What went wrong there?
Well, the regret is living a, quote, sheltered and not exciting college life. Not really joining clubs, not building a network effectively, and maybe the biggest missed opportunity, not even trying to start a business or a side project back then.
So the advice for students now would be?
Completely different. Use college to explore. Actively network. Try starting something, anything, early on. Don't just wait for graduation.
Start creating value while you're still learning.
Exactly. Powerful advice.
And that connects maybe to the second big mistake mentioned? Finding it hard to say no.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
This ties back to that family pressure, like aiming for medical school.
Right, the doctor path.
The realization was, if you genuinely want an extraordinary life, you need the confidence, the courage to follow your own gut feeling.
Even against strong influences.
Especially then. If something doesn't feel right, doesn't align with what you truly want, you have to learn to say no. Faster.
It's about setting boundaries for your own potential.
Precisely. Are your actions really lining up with your deepest goals? It takes guts to say yes to yourself, which often means saying no to others.
Okay, so learning from mistakes is one thing. What about the positive shifts? The things done right that started moving the needle?
Good question. The first one sounds simple, but it's huge. Starting to talk about money and actively learn about it.
Just opening up the conversation.
Yeah. For them, it meant candid chats with family, like
Yeah.
their dad, about finances. Plus, just diving deep online, self-educating.
And that led to practical steps.
It did. It sparked a real interest in investing early on. They actually started putting money into stocks right after college.
Which is pretty proactive.
Very. And the principle holds true for anything, right? To master a subject, you need to talk about it, read about it, immerse yourself in it.
And this early focus also helped with saving.
Absolutely. It fostered serious frugality and smart saving habits early on, building that essential base layer of net worth.
Okay, so building knowledge. What was the next key action?
Taking calculated risks.
Which, for someone young without much cash, means
It means risking your time and your energy. Those are your main assets at that stage.
putting effort into different ventures.
Exactly. That approach allows for massive learning, fast. Whether things work out or not, you gain experience.
And it increases your chances of getting lucky.
That's a key insight. When you try more things, put yourself in more situations, you basically create more surface area for luck to find you.
Like planting more seeds.
That perfect analogy.
Huh?
Some are bound to take root.
And all this doing, this trying and risking, it wasn't just about the outcome, it was about skill acquisition too.
Oh, completely. The third critical element was continuous learning through doing.
Becoming a sponge, as they put it.
Yes, just soaking up diverse skills from every single attempt, every venture. Failed ones, successful ones, didn't matter.
These aren't textbook skills.
No way. They're learned in the real world, often under pressure, through application, battle-tested skills.
And that collection of skills became the foundation later on.
Absolutely foundational for the bigger successes that came down the line.
So, if we try to boil this down, what are the absolute core principles for building this kind of uncommon wealth, especially early?
Okay, principle one may be the toughest.
Mm.
You have to be willing to do things unconventionally.
Go against the grain.
If you want uncommon results, like getting wealthy in your 20s, you just can't follow the common path. Most people aren't wealthy, so copying the majority won't get you there.
This might mean pushing back against expectations.
Often, yes. Family pressure, societal norms. It means looking for inspiration from people who forged their own path, understanding that their non-traditional choices were key to their success.
Building your own ladder.
Exactly where none existed before.
Okay, unconventionality. What's principle number 2?
Embracing failure, maybe even seeking it out in a way.
How does that work? Isn't failure bad?
Not if you reframe it. The insight here is that failure isn't just okay, it's essential for building resilience.
So those side hustles.
View them as stepping stones, not make or break. You don't need every single one to be a home run.
It's about the process.
It is. And tactically, try to rack up a lot of smaller failures. Like auditions, the more rejections you get, the less they sting, the sicker your skin gets.
Building immunity to setbacks.
Right. It encourages action over endless preparation. Just jump in, do it, learn, iterate. Don't wait for perfect.
That's a big mental shift. It seems to fight against that scarcity mindset many people have.
No.
How do you cultivate the opposite, an abundance mindset?
That's principle 3. It's crucial. For years, this person was super frugal, thinking money was scarce. That's fine for saving, maybe.
But not for earning.
Not for making significant money. The abundance mindset flips that. It's the belief that money is everywhere. Opportunities are plentiful, especially now.
Shifting from trading time for money.
To building systems, businesses, assets that create value. And here's a tactical truth. Beyond basic stability, making more money is easier than saving more money.
Interesting. So focus on income generation.
Focus on acquiring high-value skills first. That's the foundation for cash flow. Then, use that cash flow to build equity, assets that grow, things that outweigh your liabilities.
Skills lead to cash flow. Cash flow builds assets.
That combination, that's a powerful engine for building net worth. It's almost a formula.
Okay, skills, cash flow, assets. What's the 4th principle?
The power of your inner circle. Your network.
Who will you surround yourself with?
Massively important. They found surrounding themselves with like-minded people, others also investing, building, growing, had a profound impact.
Why is that so effective?
It creates an environment of collaboration, shared learning, accountability. It just drastically increases everyone's chances.
The rising tide lifts all boats idea.
Exactly. If your close friends are all pushing for similar financial goals, you feed off each other, share opportunities, you're way more likely to get there together.
Makes total sense. Now, stepping back from this specific story, you've looked at hundreds of successful people, millionaires. Are there common traits that just keep showing up?
Oh, absolutely. A few are incredibly consistent. First, they're always learning. They have a true growth mindset.
Beyond just formal education.
Way beyond. It's a deep curiosity. An understanding that there's always more to learn from every single thing they do, every person they meet. Success, failure, it's all data for growth.
Okay, constant learning. What else?
Second, and this might surprise some people, they almost always prioritize physical fitness.
Really? Health.
Yep. They see optimizing their health as fundamental to optimizing everything else. It means more energy, better focus, more capacity for work, longevity.
You don't need to be a pro athlete.
No,
Yeah.
but consistent attention to health is key for sustained high performance in any field.
Got it. And in terms of how they work, how they take action.
Third trait, incredible consistency and relentlessness.
Yeah.
Often it's about volume over quality, especially at the
It's
start.
getting stuff done.
Yes. Taking many, many swings at bat. They know perfect is the enemy of done. Waiting for the perfect plan means you might never start.
Volume negates luck, you mentioned.
That's the idea. The more you do, the more you try, the more chances you have to hit something big. Just jump in.
So does luck play a role then, or is it all volume?
No, luck definitely plays a role. That's the fourth point. Successful people are often lucky.
Ah, okay.
But, and this is the fascinating part, they tend to create their own luck.
How do you create luck?
Through all that consistent action. Trying things, putting themselves out there, meeting people, exploring ideas. They're constantly opening doors.
So they increase the probability of lucky breaks finding them?
Exactly. It's like buying way more lottery tickets than anyone else. You're actively stacking the odds in your favor through sheer activity.
Okay, so bringing this all together, after this deep dive, what's the real message for our listeners about being rich? Is it just the money?
I think the core message is this. Start focusing only on the dollar amount of being rich. Shift your focus
To what?
to becoming the type of person who achieves wealth. Cultivate the habits, the work ethic, the skills, the mindset, the consistency.
And the money follows.
Money often becomes a natural outcome of building those precursors, especially in your early years, your 20s. Focus on building yourself, acquiring skills, not just chasing cash. That foundation often leads to wealth later. Sometimes sooner.
That's a powerful reframe. But we should add a caveat, right? Financial wealth doesn't automatically mean happiness.
Absolutely critical point. Money can definitely reduce stress, buy freedom, give you options, huge benefits there.
But there's a limit.
There's a point of diminishing returns on happiness. More money doesn't necessarily mean more joy after a certain level.
So don't neglect other areas.
Please don't. Don't get so focused on money that you sacrifice your health, your relationships, your actual fulfillment. That's a hollow victory.
Right. And finally, let's talk about those grind years. They sound rough.
You often are. That dark, lonely, super tough period, usually in the 20s.
Is it worth it?
The insight here is that those years are invaluable, essential even. They build appreciation. They forge character. Success that comes too easily, that's just handed over, often isn't valued. It can even be destructive.
The struggle makes the success meaningful.
Deeply meaningful. The journey is the reward, in many ways. It makes the destination worthwhile.
So for everyone listening, maybe feeling that pressure or uncertainty, what's the final piece of advice?
It's simple, but powerful. Do your own thing. Live your own life.
Don't let others dictate your path.
Especially if they don't truly understand your goals, or if their advice leads to a life you don't actually want. Trust your gut. Forge your own way.
Wow, what an incredible deep dive. We've covered so much unconventional paths, learning from failure, abundance mindset, redefining wealth.
Yeah, the big takeaway really is about intentional action, continuous learning, taking those calculated risks. Those are the ingredients.
But also remembering to ask yourself what rich really means for your whole life, not just your finances.
Exactly. That holistic view is key.
We really hope this session gave you a ton of value, maybe a fresh perspective on your own journey.
Hope so too.
Remember to subscribe to Smart Income Masters for more deep dives like this one. Our goal, always, is to help you make money smarter.